I think the words are used by betrayed. I think he is saying some of them have chucked it. I think that this quality of player shouldn't be performing like that. You can have a run of form. We've all had it as players, a bad run, 4 or 5 games. Sometimes it may last a bit longer, once or twice in your career. For a full squad of players to be performing like that, there's obviously a massive disconnect between the manager and the players. And Frank's mentioned that one man's got to make that decision. Now, I think it was interesting what he said in terms of, I took these players to a level they've never been to before. I think he's right. If you go through a lot of those players, I don't think they were, you know, what users achieved over a long number of time. A lot of them were maybe winning the first title. And Mourinho has won so much. So that's the decision for the owner. Does he look at it and think, I've got to change the manager? Or did he start thinking now, a lot of these players have got to go? And that's the decision he's got. But he's normally always taking the side of the players, and it's the manager who's gone.
That's the quicker fix, certainly.
Well, of course it is. But this can't continue. Something has to change. Now, the only way you can change it right now is by changing the manager. Because you can't obviously change the players. You may have to wait till the end of the season. You're not going to do major business in January. But the big thing about what Frank said about Chelsea had this idea of having sort of a stable figure as a manager, maybe looking to what Arsenal and Manchester United had done. They've got one of the most successful managers in world football over the last 10, 15 years. He's our figurehead. We want him as the manager. But this is a man who's never done that. He's never, ever been anywhere 3 or 4 years. Now, never mind never been anywhere in a run that they're in right now. So we keep thinking Mourinho, this great manager, will turn it around. The reason he's struggling to turn it around because he probably doesn't know what to do. He's never been here before. He's never lost games. He's not used to just losing a home game for 4 or 5 years. Never mind losing, was it 9 games they've lost now this season? And what's he going to say tomorrow when he gets to the training ground? What he hasn't already done. He's probably had team meetings, one-on-ones with the players. Give them the stick. Then it's become the carrot after the Spurs game, what Frank mentioned. Where does he go from here?
Because what do the players think, Jamie, when they've heard tonight a word like that, betrayal, a word about that last season, when he questioned whether they'd overachieved?
Well, if you look at the performances, he may feel he's right, that some of them have overachieved, because you look at them now, this is not a team being unlucky. They're in the bottom 6 for goals scored and in the bottom 6 for goals conceded, so they are where they should be. But in terms of the players, how they feel, I don't think what he's just said tonight will affect that. I think that's gone before. I think some of them have chucked it. I think some of them, I mentioned a disconnect between them. Maybe they didn't appreciate the fact that he was challenging people early on the season, putting people on the bench, taking John Terry off at half-time, maybe again tonight. There's obviously a big divide in that dressing between the players and the manager. And then it's up to Roman Abramovich, whose side did he pick? Because this thing at Chelsea now, the manager and the players, they can't come back together and make Chelsea a great team or win things. I'll be very, very surprised if that happens next season. Either the manager won't be there or they'll have to completely change the players, because I don't think there's any way these players and manager can work together now for a long period of time.